Welcome back to Tina Romance Library, where powerful alphas fall hard, and the women they underestimate change everything. Every story here is complete, immersive, and emotion-driven. No cliffhangers, no rushed endings, just full romances you can sink into. So if you love possessive alphas, strong heroines who don't beg, slow burn tension, emotional payoffs, and stories that actually finish, you're in the right place. I need you to join the pack right now by subscribing. Leave a like if you enjoy immersive romance, and settle in because once the story begins, we don't stop until the ending. Now, let's get into it. I used to think hunger was just an empty stomach, a growl, a dull ache you could push through if you were stubborn enough. But that's before I really knew it. Before it became something that moved inside me like a second heartbeat, slower than it should be, heavier. Hunger isn't just physical. It's the way silence sounds louder when you're alone. It's the cold that seeps into your bones even when the fire's still burning. It's waking up and realizing no one in the world is wondering if you're okay. I stare at the piece of venison on my table. It's small, dried at the edges, the last of what I had, and I'd been rationing it for 3 days now, cutting slivers so thin you could see through them. My stomach twists, but I don't move to eat it yet. There's a ritual to this now, a sick little game I play with myself. If I wait long enough, maybe it'll feel like more. Maybe I can trick my body into thinking I'm not this close to the edge. The cabin is quiet except for the wind rattling the shutters. No one knows I'm here. Not really. I'm just another face that slipped through the cracks of a world that doesn't slow down for people like me. I used to mind that, used to burn with the injustice of it. But now I'm just tired. If pride were edible, I'd be the fullest woman alive. But it's not. And I'm not. I laugh soft, bitter, and the sound dies fast in the cold air. I tell myself I'm fine, that I've survived worse, that spring is coming and with it, work, maybe some luck. But underneath all that, there's something else. A longing I don't let myself name. Not for a man, exactly. Not even for love, though God knows I've given up on that a long time ago. No, it's something quieter, simpler. I just want to feel like I matter. Like my existence leaves some kind of mark. Like if I disappeared tomorrow, someone, somewhere, would notice. But no one would. And that's the truth I carry every single day. I'm about to reach for the venison, about to give in and eat it, when I hear it. A thud, heavy, deliberate, right outside my door. My heart lurches into my throat. I freeze, fingers hovering over the meat. The wind picks up, but this wasn't the wind. This was weight. This was something solid hitting the wooden planks of my porch. For a moment, I don't breathe. Then I hear it again, a scrape, like claws dragging across wood. Every instinct I have screams at me to stay inside. Lock the door. Pretend I didn't hear it, but my body moves before my mind catches up. I'm already on my feet, already crossing the small space toward the door. My hand shakes as I reach for the latch. I don't know what I'm expecting. A drunk from town, a fallen branch, maybe nothing at all. But when I open that door, the cold slams into me first sharp, biting, stealing the breath right out of my lungs. And then I see him. A wolf. Massive. Bigger than any wolf I've ever seen, and I've seen plenty in these woods. His fur is dark, almost black in the dim light, streaked with blood that looks too red, too fresh. He's lying on his side, panting, steam rising from his mouth in shallow bursts. One of his legs is twisted wrong. His flank is torn open, wet and glistening. I should be afraid. I should slam the door and bar it and pray he doesn't have the strength to break through. But I don't, because he's looking at me. His eyes golden, bright, burning lock onto mine, and the world goes still. There's no snarl, no warning growl. Just that gaze, steady and deep, like he's reaching past my skin and seeing something I've kept hidden even from myself. It's not the look of a predator sizing up prey. It's something else entirely. It's recognition. My pulse pounds in my ears, but my feet don't move backward. I can't look away. There's something in those eyes, something human, or maybe something more than human. I don't understand it, but I feel it. A pull. A tug in the center of my chest, like an invisible thread has been tied between us and someone just yanked it tight. God, I whisper, barely hearing my own voice. What happened to you? He doesn't answer. Of course he doesn't, but his ears twitch at the sound of my voice. His breathing evens out, just a fraction. Like he's calmer now that I'm here. Like my presence alone is enough to ease whatever pain he's drowning in. I should go inside. I should get help, or a weapon, or something. Instead, I step onto the porch. The cold bites through my thin dress, but I barely feel it. I kneel down slowly, carefully, keeping my movements soft. He watches me the whole time, doesn't flinch, doesn't pull away, and when I'm close enough to feel the heat radiating off his body despite the freezing air, I realize just how enormous he really is. His head is level with my shoulder even while he's lying down. You're alone, aren't you? I murmur. And maybe I'm talking to him. Or maybe I'm talking to myself. I glance back at my cabin. At the piece of venison sitting on the table, my last meal. The only thing standing between me and true starvation. I could close the door. Pretend this didn't happen. Let nature take its course. But I don't. I don't know why my heart softens. I only know that whatever he is, he's alone. Just like me. I go back inside, take the venison in trembling hands, and return. I kneel again, closer this time, and hold it out. His nostrils flare. His gaze drops to the meat, then back to my face. It lingers there on my eyes, my cheeks, my mouth longer than it should, longer than any animal would. Go on, I whisper. He moves slowly, like he's afraid of scaring me. His muzzle stretches forward, and he takes the meat gently from my palm. I feel the warmth of his breath, the careful pressure of his teeth. He chews slowly, eyes never leaving mine. And then, when the last bite is gone, he does something that stops my heart. He leans forward. His nose brushes my cheek, soft, deliberate, lingering. It's not a sniff. It's not curiosity. It's a claim. I feel it in my bones, in the way my skin hums where he touched me, in the way my breath catches and my hands start to shake. I don't understand it, but I know it. Something just shifted. Something just began. And as I kneel there in the freezing night, staring into the eyes of a wolf who looks at me like I'm the only thing in the world that matters, I realize one terrifying, intoxicating truth. I'm not invisible anymore. Aid. The wolf is gone by morning. I know this before I even open my eyes. The air feels different, thinner, colder, like something vital has been pulled from the space around me. I lie there for a moment, staring at the rough wooden beams of my ceiling, and I feel the absence like a physical thing, like someone reached into my chest and took something I didn't know I needed. It's ridiculous. He was just an animal. Wounded. Desperate. He took what I offered and left, the way any wild thing would. That's nature. That's survival. But when I finally force myself out of bed and open the door, I see the blood dry dark on my porch, and my stomach drops. I see the track's massive paw prints leading into the forest, uneven from that injured leg, and I see something else. Claw marks. Deliberate, deep. Carved into the wood right beside my door. 4 lines. Clean. Precise. A message. I don't know what it means, but I feel it. The same way I felt his nose against my cheek. The same way I felt his eyes holding mine. I press my fingers to the marks, and my pulse kicks up like he's still here, watching me. What are you? I whisper to the empty morning. The wind doesn't answer. I'm still standing there, hand on the wood, when I hear the sound of an engine. Rough, sputtering, coming up the overgrown path that barely counts as a road. My stomach sinks. I know that truck. Rogan. I barely have time to step back inside before he's out of the vehicle, boots heavy on the frozen ground, his face already twisted into that ugly smirk he wears when he knows he's got power over someone. He's the landlord's son, if you can call a man who inherited cruelty and dirt a landlord. He's been circling me for months now, ever since his father died and he took over the properties. Ever since he realized I had no one to protect me. Well, he drawls, stepping onto my porch like he owns it, because legally he does. Thought I'd come by and remind you. Rent's due. Past due, actually. I stand in the doorway, arms crossed, trying to make myself bigger than I feel. I know, I'm working on it. Working on it. He laughs, sharp and mean. That's what you said last month, and the month before that. He steps closer, and I smell the stale tobacco on his breath. I'm a patient man, but my patience has limits. I'll get it to you, I say, keeping my voice steady. I just need a little more time. Time. He shakes his head, eyes raking over me in a way that makes my skin crawl. You know what I think? I think you don't have it. I think you've been barely scraping by, and now you've got nothing left. He's not wrong, but I'll be damned if I give him the satisfaction of seeing me break. I'll figure it out, I say. His hand shoots out before I can react, grabbing my arm, the same arm I scraped against the doorframe last night in my hurry to reach the wolf. His grip is bruising, tight, meant to hurt. Maybe we can work something else out, he says, voice dropping low. You're a pretty thing when you're not all proud and prickly. Could be we come to an arrangement. Rage floods through me, hot and vicious. I yank my arm back, and he lets me go, but only because he wants to. Only because he's playing with me. Get off my porch. Your porch? He laughs again. Sweetheart, this is my porch, my cabin, my land, and if you can't pay, you're gone by the end of the week. I want to scream. I want to shove him off the steps. But I don't. I just stand there, shaking, holding his gaze and refusing to back down. And for a moment, just a flash, I think of the wolf, of those golden eyes, of the way he looked at me like I mattered, like I was worth something. I don't know why that thought steadies me, but it does. I lift my chin. I said, get off my porch. Rogan's smirk falters, just for a second, like he senses something different in me, something that wasn't there before. But before he can respond, we both hear it. The sound of tires on gravel, smooth, expensive, nothing like Rogan's beat-up truck. We both turn. A black Range Rover rolls up the path, sleek and dark and completely out of place in this forgotten corner of the woods. It stops just behind Rogan's truck, engine purring, windows tinted so dark I can't see inside. Rogan's face twists with confusion and irritation. Who the hell? The driver's door opens, and my heart stops. He steps out like he was carved from shadows and stone. Tall, taller than Rogan, taller than any man I've ever seen, broad-shouldered, moving with a kind of fluid grace that shouldn't be possible for someone his size. He's dressed in all black dark jeans, a fitted shirt, a leather jacket that clings to his frame like it was made for him. But it's his face that steals my breath. Sharp, brutal, beautiful in a way that feels dangerous. Dark hair slightly tousled. A jawline that could cut glass. And his eyes, oh God, his eyes, golden, the exact same shade as the wolf's. My knees nearly give out. He doesn't look at Rogan, doesn't even acknowledge him. His gaze goes straight to me, locking on with the same intensity, the same soul-deep recognition I felt last night on my porch. And I know with every fiber of my being. It was him. Who the hell are you? Rogan demands, puffing up like he can somehow match this man's presence. The stranger's eyes finally shift to Rogan, and the temperature drops. There's no anger in his expression, no irritation, just a cold, predatory focus that makes Rogan take an involuntary step back. I'm the man who just bought this land, he says. His voice is low, smooth, with a rough edge that vibrates through my chest. It's the kind of voice that doesn't need to be raised to command attention, the kind that makes you listen whether you want to or not. Rogan's face goes red. The hell you did. This land isn't for sale. It is now. The stranger pulls a folded paper from his jacket and holds it out. Paid in full. Cash. Your father's estate was eager to close. Rogan snatches the paper, eyes scanning it frantically. His face goes from red to white in seconds. This isn't, he sputters. Legal? Binding? Final? The stranger's mouth curves into something that might be a smile, but there's no warmth in it. Yes, all of those. Rogan's hands shake with rage. You can't just... I already did. The stranger's gaze slides back to me, and something in his expression softens. Just barely. Just enough. Which means she's no longer your concern. He shifts his position subtle, almost unconscious, but suddenly he's standing slightly in front of me, not blocking me, not caging me in, just there. A wall between me and Rogan. A barrier that doesn't ask permission because it doesn't need to. And I feel it again. That pull, that claim. Rogan's eyes dart between us, and I see the moment he realizes he's outmatched. His jaw works, fists clenching and unclenching. This isn't over, he spits. Yes, the stranger says calmly. It is. Rogan storms off, gets in his truck, and peels out with a spray of gravel and impotent fury. The silence that follows is heavy, electric. I can't move, can't breathe, can't do anything but stare at this man, this stranger who isn't a stranger at all, and feel my entire world tilt on its axis. He turns to face me fully, and those golden eyes hold mine with an intensity that makes my skin hum. You're safe now, he says quietly. 2 words, simple, direct, but they hit me like a confession. Who are you? I manage to whisper. He steps closer, slow and deliberate, and I catch his scent pine and smoke and something wild, something that makes my hindbrain light up with recognition and warning, and want all at once. My name is Lucian, he says. And then his gaze drops to my arm, to the bruise already darkening where Rogan grabbed me. Something flickers in his eyes, something dangerous. His hand lifts, hovering just beside my arm, not quite touching. Did he hurt you? The question is soft. But underneath it, I hear something else. A promise. A threat to anyone who dares. I'm fine, I say, but my voice shakes. His jaw tightens. You're not. And God help me. He's right. I'm not fine. I haven't been fine in so long, I've forgotten what it feels like. But standing here, with this man, this wolf looking at me like I'm something precious, something worth protecting, I feel something crack open inside my chest. Why did you buy the land? I ask. His eyes meet mine, and for a moment, I see something raw and honest beneath the controlled surface. Because you're here, he says simply. My breath catches. I didn't know his name yet when I knelt beside him last night, but my body already did. My heart already did. And now, standing in the cold morning light with Lucian's presence wrapping around me like a shield I never asked for but desperately need, I realize something terrifying and thrilling and inevitable. This isn't over. This is just beginning. Lucian's estate isn't what I expected. I don't know what I thought. Maybe something cold and sterile, all sharp edges and empty rooms, the kind of place a man like him would occupy. Controlled, contained, calculated. But it's not that at all. It's a manor, old and sprawling, tucked so deep into the forest that the trees press close like they're trying to reclaim it. Stone and timber and windows that catch the fading light in a way that makes the whole place glow amber at dusk. There's warmth here. History. Like the house itself has been waiting for something or someone to bring it back to life. He doesn't ask if I want to come, just opens the passenger door of the Range Rover and waits, patient and still, until I make the choice myself. I could say no. I could walk back into my cabin, lock the door, and pretend this isn't happening. But I don't, because the truth is, I have nowhere else to go. No money, no plan, no safety. And because when I look at him, something in me settles. Something I've never felt before, a recognition so deep it bypasses logic and lands straight in my bones. So I get in the car. The drive is silent. He doesn't try to fill the space with small talk or explanations. Just drives, one hand on the wheel, eyes on the road, presence so consuming that I can barely breathe properly in the enclosed space. I watch him from the corner of my eye, the hard line of his jaw, the way his fingers grip the steering wheel with a control that feels deliberate, restrained, like he's holding something back. When we arrive, he shows me to a room on the second floor. Large, beautiful. A 4-poster bed with thick blankets, a fireplace already lit and crackling, windows that overlook the forest. There's a bathroom attached marble and brass and a clawfoot tub so deep I could disappear into it. "You'll stay here," he says from the doorway. Not a question, but not quite a command either. "For how long?" I ask. His eyes meet mine, and something flickers there. Something I can't name. "As long as you need." He leaves before I can respond. That first night, I take a bath so hot it turns my skin pink. I sink into the water until it covers my shoulders, my neck, my chin, and I let myself feel it, the warmth, the safety, the strangeness of being somewhere that doesn't leak cold air through the walls. I cry, not because I'm sad exactly, but because I didn't realize how much I'd been holding until I finally had permission to let go. When I get out, there's food waiting on a tray outside my door. Soup, bread, roasted vegetables, real food. The kind that fills you up and makes you remember what it's like to be human. I eat every bite, and I think of him. The days blur together in a way that feels both comforting and disorienting. I'm not a prisoner, he makes that clear. I can leave whenever I want, explore the grounds, walk the forest paths, but I don't. Not yet, because as much as I want to understand what's happening, I'm not ready to face the world outside these walls. So I stay. And I watch him. Lucian is careful with me. Distant, but not cold. He's always nearby, never intrusive, but I feel his presence like a gravitational pull. He doesn't ask about my past, doesn't pry into the reasons I ended up alone in that cabin. He just provides. Food, warmth, space. But it's the small things that undo me. The way he makes sure I eat first. Always. Before he even touches his own plate. The way he keeps the fire in my room stoked without me asking. The way his eyes track me when I move through a room, like he can't help it. Like I'm the only thing worth watching. He never touches me casually. No hand on my shoulder, no brush of fingers when he passes me something. It's like there's an invisible line between us, and he refuses to cross it without permission. But God, I feel it. The restraint. The tension coiled so tight in him that I wonder what would happen if it ever snapped. Every shared look feels charged, electric. Like we're having a conversation neither of us is brave enough to speak aloud. I catch him watching me once while I'm curled up in the library, a book in my lap. His expression is unguarded for just a moment, raw and hungry and achingly vulnerable. And then he notices me noticing, and the shutters come down. He leaves the room without a word. I stare at the empty doorway and feel my heart hammering against my ribs. What are we doing? What is this? I don't have answers, only questions that multiply every time he's near. Dinner becomes a ritual. Every evening we sit across from each other at the long table in the dining room. Candles flicker between us, casting shadows that dance across his face. He serves me first always and watches until I take the first bite before he touches his own food. And the food he eats is different. Rare meat, barely seared, red and glistening on the plate. He cuts it with precision, but there's something primal in the way he eats it. Something that shouldn't be attractive but is. I try not to stare, fail miserably. "You're quiet tonight," he says one evening, his voice low and rough in the flickering candlelight. I look up, fork halfway to my mouth. "So are you." His mouth curves. Not quite a smile. I'm always quiet. "Sueni." Not with me. The words land between us like a confession. Because he's right. I talk to him more than I've talked to anyone in years. About nothing. About everything. About the books I've read, the woods I've walked, the small mundane details of my day. And he listens. Really listens. Like every word I say matters. "You make it easy," I admit quietly. Something flashes in his eyes. Heat, hunger, gone as fast as it appeared. Do I? He murmurs. I nod, not trusting my voice. The silence stretches, heavy and thick, with things unsaid. I'm about to speak to ask him something, anything to break the tension when a sound splits the night. A howl, long, low, mournful, coming from somewhere deep in the forest. I freeze, fork clattering against my plate. Lucian's reaction is instant. His entire body goes still, head tilting slightly like he's listening to something I can't hear. His eyes sharpen, pupils dilating, and for just a second, just a flash, I see something inhuman flicker across his face. Another howl answers the first, closer this time. And then another, a chorus. My pulse kicks up, heart pounding in my throat. What is that? Lucian's gaze snaps to mine, and the intensity there nearly stops my breath. Stay inside tonight. It's not a request. Lucian, promise me. His voice drops, edged with something fierce and protective and desperate. Don't go outside. Not tonight. I stare at him, and I see it, the wolf beneath the man. The wildness barely contained. The danger he's been hiding so carefully. Why? I whisper. He stands abruptly, chair scraping against the floor. For a moment, he just looks at me, and I see a war waging behind his eyes, like he's trying to decide how much to tell me, how much I can handle. Because they'll smell you, he finally says, voice rough. And I won't be able to stop them if they decide you're worth taking. The words hit me like a physical blow. They? I breathe. His jaw tightens. My pack. The world tilts. Pack. He doesn't wait for my response, just moves to the window, shoulders rigid, staring out into the darkness like he can see things I can't. Another howl rises, and this time I hear the challenge in it. The question. Lucian's hands curl into fists at his sides. Go to your room, he says without turning around. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me. Lucian, please. The word is rough, broken. Just, please. I've never heard him say please before. I stand on shaking legs, chair scraping, and I move toward the door. But I stop at the threshold, looking back at him silhouetted against the window. Will you be okay? I ask. He doesn't turn around, but I see the tension in his spine, the way his breath comes harder. I'm always okay, he says. It's a lie. I know it. He knows I know it. But I leave anyway, because I don't know what else to do. I make it to my room, lock the door like he asked, sit on the edge of the bed with my heart in my throat, and listen to the howls rising and falling outside like a symphony of something wild and ancient and utterly beyond my understanding. And I think of him down there, alone, fighting whatever battle he won't let me see. Hours pass. The howls fade. Silence returns. I don't sleep. I sit by the window, staring out into the dark forest, and I wait. For what? I don't know. But when I finally see him, a shadow moving through the trees, massive and four-legged and golden-eyed, I press my hand against the glass and feel tears slip down my cheeks. Because I understand now. He's not just protecting me from them. He's protecting me from himself. And somehow, that makes me want to run toward him instead of away. I don't sleep that night, or the next, or the one after that. I lie in bed listening to the sounds of the house settling, the wind in the trees, the distant movements that might be him or might be something else entirely. Every creak makes my heart jump. Every shadow feels alive. By the third day, I can't take it anymore. Lucian has been avoiding me. Oh, he's still there making sure the fires are lit, ensuring food appears at regular intervals, but he doesn't join me for meals anymore, doesn't linger in doorways, doesn't look at me with those eyes that see too much. It's like he's built a wall between us overnight, and I don't know if he's keeping me out or keeping himself in. I hate it. I hate the silence, the distance, the way my chest aches when I catch a glimpse of him disappearing around a corner before I can speak. So I go looking. The manor is bigger than I realized, hallways that twist and branch, rooms I haven't explored, doors I've been too polite to open. But politeness is wearing thin, and I need answers more than I need manners. I find the study by accident, drawn by a light beneath a door at the end of the east wing. It's late afternoon, the sun already setting, shadows stretching long and deep. I knock. Once. Twice. No answer. I shouldn't go in. I know I shouldn't. But I do anyway. The study is all dark wood and leather, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves crammed with volumes that look older than the house itself. There's a desk near the window, papers scattered across its surface, a lamp casting warm light over everything. And there, right there in the open, are files. Thick manila folders with names written on tabs in neat handwriting. I move closer, curiosity pulling me forward even as warning bells ring in the back of my mind. The first name I see makes my blood run cold. Mine. My full name. Written in black ink. Clinical. Detached. My hands shake as I open it. Inside are photographs, documents, records I didn't know existed. My birth certificate, school records, employment history, what little there is, medical files, even a photo of my cabin, taken from the forest, angles suggesting whoever took it was watching from the trees. My stomach turns over. Looking for something? I spin around, heart slamming into my throat. Lucian stands in the doorway. I didn't hear him approach, didn't hear anything, and now he's there, filling the space with his presence, eyes fixed on me with an intensity that steals my breath. What is this? I demand, holding up the file with shaking hands. He doesn't move, doesn't flinch, just watches me with that unreadable expression he's perfected. Information, he says simply. About me. Yes. Why? The word comes out harder than I intend, anger and fear mixing into something sharp. Why do you have a file on me? How long have you been watching me? He steps into the room, and I take an instinctive step back. My hip hits the desk. Nowhere left to go. Long enough, he says quietly. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. He moves closer, slow, deliberate, eating up the space between us with that predatory grace I've seen in the way he walks, the way he moves. He stops just inside my personal space, close enough that I can feel the heat radiating off him, smell that wild scent of pine and smoke and something uniquely him, close enough to run. I don't. You're afraid, he observes, voice low. Shouldn't I be? I shoot back, lifting my chin even though my heart is racing. You've been watching me, collecting information. You bought the land, brought me here. To keep you safe. From what? His jaw tightens. From everything. That's not good enough, Lucian. I press my palm against his chest, meant to push him back, create distance, but the moment I touch him, everything changes. Heat floods through me. Electric. Instant. My hand splays across the hard plane of his chest, feeling his heart thundering beneath my palm just as hard and fast as mine. His eyes drop to where I'm touching him, and something dark and hungry flashes across his face. You want the truth? He asks, voice dropping to a rough whisper. Yes. He leans in, and suddenly he's everywhere. One hand braced on the desk beside my hip, the other lifting to cup my jaw, gentle, possessive, thumbing tracing the line of my cheekbone with devastating tenderness. I knew you were mine the moment I saw you, he says. The words hit me like lightning. What? That night, when you opened the door. His thumb drags lower, tracing my jawline, and I can't breathe, can't think, can't do anything but feel. I was dying, bleeding out, and you... His voice cracks. You gave me your last meal. My eyes burn. You were hurt. I was a wolf. I know. His eyes snap to mine, gold blazing. Do you? Do you really understand what that means? You're a shifter, I whisper. A werewolf. I'm an alpha. The words are rough, possessive. Of one of the oldest packs in the region. And you, God, you shouldn't have let me in. Shouldn't have fed me. Shouldn't have touched me. Why not? His hand tightens fractionally on my jaw, tilting my face up to his. Because now I can't let you go. The confession hangs between us, raw and honest and terrifying. Is that what the file is? I ask, voice barely steady. Insurance? A way to keep track of me? It's protection. His thumb sweeps across my bottom lip, and my breath hitches. I needed to know everything, every threat, every vulnerability, everyone who might try to take you from me. I'm not yours to protect. Yes, he says fiercely. You are. You don't own me. No. His forehead drops to mine, breath mingling with mine, so close I can feel the restraint vibrating through him. But you own me. Oh God. Luchan. I've been trying to stay away, he continues, voice ragged. Trying to give you space, time, trying to be something other than what I am. But every night I hear your heartbeat through these walls. Every morning I smell you on the air. And every second I'm not with you feels like suffocating. My hands curl into his shirt, holding on because my legs won't support me. The pack, I manage. That night, the howls, they know you're here. His eyes close briefly, like the admission costs him. They know I've claimed you, and some of them want to challenge that claim. Fear spikes through me. Why? Because you're human. Because you're vulnerable. Because bonding with you makes me vulnerable. He pulls back just enough to meet my eyes, and what I see there makes my heart stutter. And because in 3 days, the blood moon rises. The words mean nothing to me, but the weight behind them is crushing. What happens on the blood moon? His thumb traces my jaw one more time, slow and reverent, like he's memorizing the feel of me. Everything changes, he says quietly. Before I can ask what that means, a knock sounds at the door. Lucian's head snaps toward it, a low growl rumbling in his chest, instinctive, protective, possessive. Alpha. The voice is male, older, respectful. Arthur's here. He needs to speak with you. And the girl. Lucian's eyes stay on mine for a long moment, and I see the war there, the desire to send whoever it is away, to keep me here in this moment where nothing else exists. But he steps back, puts distance between us, and the absence of his heat feels like loss. We're coming, he says. His hand finds mine, fingers threading through mine, and he leads me out of the study. I don't let go. Neither does he. Arthur is waiting in the main hall, an older man, gray-haired and stern-faced, with eyes that assess me in one sharp sweep before landing on Lucian. We have a problem, Arthur says without preamble. Tell me. Rogan's been talking, spreading rumors in town, about her. Arthur's gaze flicks to me. About why you're keeping her here. Lucian's hand tightens on mine. Let him talk. It's not just talk anymore. He's stirred up some of the younger wolves. They're saying you're weak, distracted, that a human has no place in Packlands. They can say what they want. They're planning to come here, during the blood moon. Arthur's voice drops. To test your claim. The temperature in the room plummets. Lucian's entire body goes still, the kind of stillness that precedes violence. Then I'll be ready, he says quietly. Arthur looks at me again, something like pity in his eyes. You need to leave, girl, before the moon rises. It's not safe for you here. She's not leaving. Lucian's voice is absolute. She's human, she's vulnerable, and when the change comes, you won't be able to protect her and fight them off. I said she's not leaving. The words echo through the hall, final and unyielding. Arthur sighs, looking older suddenly, tired. Then God help you both. He leaves. The silence that follows is suffocating. I turn to Lucian, dozens of questions on my tongue, but he speaks first. I have to go, he says, and there's pain in his voice. I need to meet with the pack, establish dominance before the moon rises. It might take a few days. Days? The word comes out small. His hand comes up, cupping my face again, and his eyes hold mine with desperate intensity. I'll come back, he promises. Before the blood moon, I swear it. Luchan. He kisses my forehead. Soft, lingering, a benediction and a goodbye. And then he's gone. I stand in the empty hall, hand pressed to where his lips touched my skin, and I feel it, the bond he talked about, pulling tight like a rope around my chest. He left me, but somehow, I've never felt more claimed in my life. The days without him are endless. I wander the manor like a ghost, moving through rooms that suddenly feel too big, too empty, too quiet. The staff people I barely noticed before move around me with careful distance, like they know something I don't, like they're waiting for something to break. I catch them watching me sometimes, nervous glances, whispered conversations that stop when I enter a room. I want to demand answers, want to shake someone until they tell me what the blood moon means, why everyone looks at me like I'm already lost. But I don't, because deep down I think I already know. On the second night, I dream of golden eyes and the taste of fear and freedom mixed together. I wake with my heart racing, sheets tangled around my legs, and the overwhelming certainty that something is coming, something inevitable. By the third day, I can barely eat, can barely sit still. I pace the length of my room, then the halls, then finally give up and go outside, despite every warning to stay inside. The forest calls to me, or maybe he does. I can feel him out there, not physically, not logically, but in some deep, instinctive way that defies explanation. Like there's a thread tied between my ribs and his, pulling taut the further apart we are. The ache of it is almost unbearable. I make it to the edge of the tree line before I hear the vehicles. Multiple engines, coming fast. My stomach drops. I turn back toward the house, but it's too late. 3 trucks roar up the drive, spraying gravel, cutting off any path of retreat. Men pour out 6, 7, 8 of them, rough-looking, armed, and leading them, wearing a smile that makes my skin crawl, is Rogan. Well, well, he drawls, swagger in every step as he approaches. Look who's all alone. I back up, hands curling into fists at my sides. Get off this property. He laughs. This property? Sweetheart, this property is about to change hands. Again. The men spread out, surrounding me in a loose circle. I recognize a few faces from town. Mercenaries. Men who'd do anything for money and don't ask questions. Where's your monster? Rogan asks, voice dripping with mock concern. Thought he'd keep you safe. Thought he was so powerful. He spits on the ground. Guess he got bored. Guess you weren't worth keeping after all. He's coming back, I say, hating how my voice shakes. Sure he is. Rogan steps closer, and I smell alcohol on his breath. You know what he is, right? What they all are? Freaks, abominations, animals pretending to be men. His eyes rake over me. And you let one of them touch you. You let him... Shut up. The words come out harder than I expected. Fiercer. Rogan's expression darkens. Excuse me? I said shut up. Something hot and defiant rises in my chest. You don't know anything about him. I know he's a monster. Then so am I. The words surprise me as much as they surprise him. But I mean them. God help me. I mean them. If Lucian is a monster, then he's mine. And I'm done pretending otherwise. Rogan's face twists with rage. Grab her. 2 men lunge forward. I fight kicking, clawing, screaming, but there are too many. Hands lock around my arms, my waist, hauling me backward. I struggle against their grip, fury, and fear tangling into something desperate. He's going to kill you, I spit at Rogan. When he finds out what you did, he's not going to find out. Rogan pulls zip ties from his pocket, yanking my wrists together with brutal efficiency. Because you're going to disappear. And when he comes looking, he'll find a note explaining how you couldn't handle what he was, how you ran, how you chose to leave. No one will believe that. They'll believe what I tell them. He leans in close, breath hot against my ear. And by the time he figures out the truth, you'll be long gone. Terror floods through me, cold and sharp. But underneath it, something else stirs. A pull, a certainty. He's coming. I don't know how I know, but I do. You're making a mistake, I whisper. Rogan's laugh is ugly. The only mistake was him thinking he could keep you. He signals to his men, and they start dragging me toward the trucks. That's when I hear it. A howl. Long, deep, resonant, coming from the forest. Everyone freezes. Another howl answers. And another. And another. A chorus rising from the trees, surrounding us, closing in. Rogan's face goes pale. Get her in the truck. Now. But his men are already backing up, eyes wide, hands reaching for weapons. "Boss, we should." I said, "Get her in the—" The first wolf explodes from the tree line. Massive, gray, eyes gleaming with intelligence and rage. Then another. And another. 5, 7, 10. They move like liquid shadow, spreading out in a semicircle, cutting off every escape route, lips pulled back in snarls that show teeth meant for rending flesh. Rogan's men scatter, shouting, stumbling over themselves to get away. But the wolves don't pursue them. They're waiting, all of them staring at the forest behind me. I turn, heart hammering, and I see him, the black wolf, larger than all the others. Moving with a grace that speaks of absolute power, absolute control. His coat gleams like midnight, muscles rippling beneath fur, every line of him built for dominance. But it's his eyes that break me, golden, burning, fixed on me, always me. He moves past the other wolves like they're not even there, and they lower their heads in submission. Alpha, undisputed, unchallenged. He stops 3 feet away, so close I can feel the heat of him, and for a moment the entire world narrows to just us. I know him, not by face, not by form, by soul. Lucian. I breathe. The wolf's ears twitch at his name, and then he shifts. I've never seen it before. Never seen the way reality bends around him, the way bones crack and reform, the way fur melts into skin. It's violent and beautiful and impossible, and I can't look away. And then he's there, kneeling in front of me, naked, powerful, every line of him speaking to barely restrained violence. But his hands, when they reach for me, are gentle. "Are you hurt?" His voice is rough, raw, like shifting tore something in his throat. I shake my head, unable to speak. His eyes scan me anyway, taking in the zip ties around my wrists, the bruises already forming on my arms where they grabbed me. Something dangerous flashes across his face. "Who touched you?" The question is soft, deadly. I glance at Rogan, who's frozen 10 feet away, face white as paper. Lucian follows my gaze. The sound that comes from his chest isn't human. It's a growl so deep it reverberates through the ground, through my bones, through everything. "Run," Lucian says quietly. Rogan doesn't move, paralyzed with terror. "Run." This time it's a roar. Rogan breaks, stumbling backward, tripping over his own feet. His men are already gone, trucks peeling out in sprays of gravel and panic. The wolves move to follow, but Lucian holds up one hand. They stop, waiting for orders. "Let them go," he says, voice carrying absolute authority. "They're not worth it." The wolves melt back into the forest, one by one, until only a few remain. Guards, witnesses, and then Lucian turns back to me. His hands are shaking as he reaches for my bound wrists, carefully, so carefully breaking the zip ties. He rubs the red marks left behind, jaw tight with barely controlled rage. "I'm sorry," he says, and there's so much weight in those 2 words. "I shouldn't have left. I shouldn't have—" I don't let him finish. I reach up and touch his face, my palm against his cheek, thumb brushing the sharp line of his jaw, fingers threading into his hair. He freezes under my touch, eyes closing like I've given him something holy. "You came back," I whisper. "Always." His hand comes up to cover mine, holding it against his face like he's afraid I'll pull away. "Always, I'll come back to you." I know. His eyes open, meeting mine, and I see everything there. The fear, the need, the fierce, overwhelming devotion. "You're not afraid," he says, and it's not a question, it's wonder. "I was, I admit, but not of you, never of you." Something breaks in his expression. He turns his face into my palm, lips brushing my skin, breath warm and unsteady. "Say it," he murmurs against my hand. "Say you understand what this means, what we are." I don't hesitate. "You're mine," I tell him, "and I'm yours." The words are a vow, a claiming, a truth I can't deny anymore. His arms come around me, pulling me against him, and I feel the tremor that runs through his entire body. The blood moon, he says into my hair. Tomorrow night. It's when the bond becomes permanent, when there's no going back. I don't want to go back. He pulls away just enough to look at me, searching my face for doubt, for hesitation, for anything that says I don't mean it. But I do. With everything I am, I do. You'll be bonded to a wolf, he says roughly, to an alpha, to someone who can't promise you safety because every day I have enemies who would use you against me. Someone who will always have a wild thing living under his skin. Someone who... I kiss him. It's not gentle, not tentative. It's claiming and desperate and inevitable. And he responds like a man drowning, hands fisting in my hair, pulling me closer, deepening the kiss until I can't tell where I end and he begins. When we finally break apart, both breathing hard, he rests his forehead against mine. Tomorrow, he whispers. Under the blood moon. If you're sure, I'm sure. Then I'm yours, he says. Forever, forever, I echo. And in the fading light, with wolves watching from the shadows and the promise of tomorrow hanging between us, I finally understand. This isn't a cage. This is freedom. And I'm never letting go. That night, Lucian doesn't let me out of his sight. We return to the manor together, his hand never leaving mine, his body angled slightly in front of me even though the threat is gone. The remaining wolves follow at a respectful distance, shadows flickering between trees, silent guardians. Inside, he wraps a blanket around my shoulders. I hadn't realized I was shaking, and builds up the fire in the main room until heat floods the space. Someone brings clothes for him. He dresses quickly, efficiently, but his eyes keep returning to me like he needs to confirm I'm still here, still whole, still his. You should eat, he says. So should you. Neither of us moves toward the kitchen. We sit instead, close enough that our knees touch, and the silence between us is heavy with everything we haven't said, everything that's coming. Finally, he speaks. Mate. The word hangs in the air between us. That's what you are to me, he continues, voice low and rough. Not girlfriend, not partner, mate. It's more than human marriage, deeper, permanent, written into the very fabric of what I am. I know, I say quietly. His eyes snap to mine. Do you? Do you really understand what that means? Tell me. He leans forward, elbows on his knees, hands clasped tight enough that his knuckles go white. It means when I'm hurt, you'll feel it. When you're in danger, I'll know. It means my pack becomes your pack. My enemies become your enemies. It means every wolf in this territory will know you belong to me, and some of them, his jaw tightens, some of them will see that as weakness, as opportunity, to hurt you through me. I finish. Yes. And the blood moon? Tomorrow night? It's when the bond can be completed, sealed, made unbreakable. He looks at me with something raw and desperate in his eyes, but it has to be your choice. Freely given, without coercion or doubt. If you have any hesitation, any at all, we stop. We wait. I don't. You should. The words come out harsh, pained. You should hesitate. You should be smart enough to walk away from this. Is that what you want? I ask, keeping my voice steady even as my heart pounds. For me to walk away? And no. The admission is torn from him. God, no. I want you so badly it's destroying me. I want to mark you, claim you, bind you to me so completely that nothing and no one can ever take you away. But what? But I love you too much to trap you. The words break something open in my chest. Luchan. So here's what's going to happen. He stands abruptly, pacing like he can't contain the energy surging through him. Tomorrow, before moonrise, Arthur will take you away. Somewhere safe, somewhere the pack can't find you. You'll have money, documents, everything you need to start over. And when enough time has passed, when things have settled, if you still want this, if you still want me, you can come back. I stare at him. You're sending me away. I'm giving you a choice. I already made my choice. You made it under duress, with men threatening you, I made it the night I opened my door. I stand, crossing the space between us, I made it when I fed you my last meal. I made it every day I stayed here knowing what you were. I made it when I kissed you tonight. His hands curl into fists at his sides. You don't know what you're agreeing to. Then tell me. I'm violent, he says, voice dropping. When I shift, when the wolf takes over, I'm dangerous. I've killed. I'll kill again to protect what's mine. I know. I'm possessive. Jealous. I won't be able to stand another man touching you, looking at you. I'll want to keep you close, keep you safe, and sometimes that'll feel like a cage. I know. I have enemies, rival packs, humans who hunt us. Every single day you're with me, you'll be a target. No. He stops pacing, chest heaving, and stares at me with wild, desperate eyes. Then why? He demands. Why would you choose this? Choose me? Because I didn't survive everything I survived just to be hidden away like I'm something fragile, I say. And there's steel in my voice now. Fire. Because I spent years invisible, and you see me. Because I was starving, and you fed me not just food but purpose, connection. Because when I look at you, I don't see a monster. I see someone who understands what it means to be alone, and I refuse to let you be alone anymore. He makes a sound broken and raw, and his hands come up to frame my face. You're sure, he says. Not a question. A plea for confirmation one more time. I've never been more sure of anything. Tomorrow night, I'll be here. The pack will challenge it. They'll test you. They'll... Let them. His thumb brushes my cheekbone, touch reverent. You're stronger than I gave you credit for. I had to be, I say quietly. The world doesn't leave much choice for women like me. Women like you? The ones who survive. Something fierce and proud flashes in his eyes. My mate, he murmurs. My queen. Not yet, I remind him. Tomorrow, he promises. And when he kisses me this time, it's different. Slower. Deeper. A promise sealed with touch and breath, and the rapid thunder of two hearts beating in sync. Tomorrow can't come fast enough. The blood moon rises like a wound in the sky. I watch it from the window of my room, dressed in clothes someone left for me. Simple, practical, easy to move in. My hair is loose, falling around my shoulders. No jewelry, no adornment. Just me. Lucian comes for me at moonrise. He looks different tonight. More wolf than man even in human form. His eyes are brighter, pupils blown wide, movements carrying that fluid predatory grace. He's dressed in dark clothes that hug his frame, and when he looks at me, hunger and devotion mix into something that makes my knees weak. It's time, he says. I take his offered hand. We walk through the manor together, down halls lined with pack members who've gathered to witness. I feel their eyes on me assessing, judging, wondering if I'll survive what comes next. I lift my chin and meet their gazes head-on. Let them wonder. Outside, the clearing behind the manor is filled with wolves, dozens of them, some in human form, some shifted, all watching as we emerge. And standing at the center, waiting, is someone I don't recognize. He's bigger than Lucian, with silver-streaked hair and eyes like ice. He stands with the confidence of someone who's never lost a fight. Rival Alpha, Lucian murmurs. Marcus. He's been waiting for an opportunity to challenge my leadership. Because of me? Because of everything. You just gave him the excuse. Marcus steps forward, voice carrying across the clearing. You bring a human into our territory. Call her mate. Expect us to accept this weakness. She's not weakness, Lucian says, voice deadly calm. She's my choice, a choice that endangers the pack. Marcus's eyes slide to me, cold and dismissive. She's prey, fragile, useless. The words should sting, should make me doubt. They don't. If you believe that, I say, voice ringing clear, then you're a fool. Silence crashes through the clearing. Marcus's eyes narrow. You dare. I survived on my own when everyone else forgot I existed. I continue, stepping forward. Lucian tenses beside me, but doesn't stop me. I fed your alpha when he was dying. I chose to stand here knowing what it means. So yes, I dare. Because I'm not asking for your permission. I'm taking my place. Shock ripples through the gathered wolves. Marcus laughs sharp and cruel. Bold words. Let's see if you can back them up. He looks at Lucian. I challenge you. For alpha. For leadership. And when I win, the human leaves. She's not going anywhere, Lucian growls. Then prove it. They shift in heartbeats, bones cracking, bodies reforming, until two massive wolves face each other in the moonlight. Lucian's black coat gleams. Marcus's silver fur bristles with aggression. They circle, testing, waiting, and then they collide. It's brutal, vicious, all teeth and claws and primal fury. I watch, heart in my throat, as they tear into each other. Blood flies, snarls echo. The pack watches in tense silence. Lucian is faster, smarter, but Marcus is ruthless. When Marcus gets Lucian pinned, jaws closing toward his throat, I don't think. I move. There's a silver knife on the ground dropped by one of the pack members, forgotten in the chaos. I grab it, sprint forward, and drive it into Marcus's shoulder. Not deep enough to kill, but enough to hurt. Enough to make him release Lucian. Marcus rounds on me, fury in his eyes, and for a moment I think I've made a fatal mistake. But Lucian is already there. He hits Marcus like a freight train, and this time there's no hesitation, no mercy. Within seconds, Marcus is on his back. Lucian's jaws at his throat, one wrong move from death. Yield, Lucian's voice comes out distorted through his shifted form. Or die. Marcus goes still, submissive. I yield. Lucian holds him there a moment longer, making sure the lesson lands, then steps back. He shifts again, returning to human form, breathing hard, bleeding from a dozen wounds, but victorious. He turns to me, and despite everything, he smiles. My mate, he says, loud enough for everyone to hear. My queen, my equal. He takes my hand, lifting it high. Anyone who challenges her challenges me. Anyone who threatens her dies. She is pack, she is mine, and I am hers. The words echo through the clearing. And then, one by one, the wolves bow. Not to him alone. To us. The bonding ceremony happens under the blood moon, with the entire pack as witnesses. Lucian leads me to the center of the clearing, where the moonlight pools like liquid silver. The air hums with ancient energy, with magic older than memory, older than words. I feel it on my skin, in my bones, in the very rhythm of my heartbeat. He faces me, taking both my hands in his. His wounds from the fight are already healing, supernatural metabolism knitting flesh back together, but I can still see the evidence of what he risked, what he fought for. Me. This is the last chance, he says, voice low enough that only I can hear. After this, there's no undoing it. The bond will be permanent, written into your soul. Good, I whisper back. His eyes search mine one final time, looking for doubt, for fear, for any reason to stop. He finds none. Then speak the words with me, he says. He begins, and I follow. Our voices weaving together in a language I don't understand but somehow know. The words are guttural, primal, ancient. They taste like blood, and earth, and wildness on my tongue. As we speak, I feel it, a warmth blooming in my chest, spreading outward like ink in water. It grows hotter, brighter, until I'm burning from the inside out. Not painful, transformative. Lucian's hands tighten on mine, and I see it mirrored in his eyes, the same fire, the same connection building between us like a bridge made of light. The world narrows to just this, just us. And then, with the final word, something clicks into place. The bond snaps taut. I gasp, knees buckling, and Lucian catches me. I feel him not just physically, but deeper. His emotions flood through me. Love, fierce and overwhelming. Relief, possessive satisfaction. And underneath it all, a devotion so absolute it takes my breath away. I feel you, I whisper, clutching his arms. Always. he murmurs against my hair. From now on, always. When I look up, the pack is watching with something like awe. Even Marcus, still bleeding from his wounds, looks at us with grudging respect. Lucian turns to face them, keeping me tucked against his side. "She is your Luna," he declares, voice carrying absolute authority. "She is mine, and you are hers. Protect her as you would protect me. Obey her as you would obey me, because she is not just my mate, she is your queen." One by one, they bow. Not out of fear, not out of obligation, out of respect. And as I stand there, held by the man who claimed me, surrounded by wolves who now call me theirs, I realize something profound. I'm not invisible anymore. I never will be again. The weeks that follow are a revelation. I expected the bond to feel like a chain, something that tethered me, limited me, made me less. But it's the opposite. I feel more alive than I ever have, more present, more powerful. Through the bond, I can sense Lucian even when he's not near. I know when he's tense, when he's amused, when he's thinking of me. And he knows the same about me, can feel my moods, my fears, my joy. It should be invasive, should feel like too much. Instead, it feels like coming home. The pack accepts me slowly, cautiously. Some faster than others. But I prove myself day by day, not by fighting or shifting or being something I'm not, but by being exactly who I am. Strong, stubborn, unwilling to back down. I learn their names, their stories, their wounds. I sit with the mothers while they tend their children. I help prepare meals during gatherings. I listen when they need ears, and I speak when they need truth. And slowly, surely, I become theirs as much as they become mine. Lucian watches it happen with something like wonder in his eyes. "You're a natural," he tells me one night as we lie tangled together in his bed. Our bed now. "At what?" "Leading. Being Luna. You don't command respect, you earn it. That's rarer than you know." I trace patterns on his chest, feeling his heartbeat steady beneath my palm. I learned a long time ago that you can't force people to see you. You just have to be worth seeing. His hand covers mine, pressing it flat against his heart. "I see you," he says fiercely. "I've always seen you. I know. And I do. Through the bond, through his actions, through every moment we share, I know. Winter comes early and hard. The forest transforms into something out of a fairy tale, all white snow and crystalline ice and trees heavy with frost. It's beautiful and brutal, and it reminds me of the man I've bound myself to. We walk together through the snow-covered paths, Lucian's hand warm in mine despite the cold. Behind us, wolves move through the trees, guards, always guards, because there are still threats in the world, still enemies who see me as Lucian's weakness. They're wrong. I'm his strength, just as he's mine. We reach a clearing where the pack has gathered for a winter hunt. Dozens of wolves in both forms, preparing, strategizing, waiting for Lucian's direction. But when we arrive, something different happens. They don't just bow to him, they bow to both of us. As equals. Lucian notices. I see the pride flash in his eyes, feel it echo through the bond. He squeezes my hand once in acknowledgement, a celebration, and then we move forward together. Not him ahead of me, leading while I follow. Not me ahead of him, forging the path alone. Side by side. Always. He addresses the pack, outlining the hunt, assigning positions. His voice carries authority built over years of leadership, earned through strength and wisdom and sacrifice. And when he's done, he looks at me, giving me the floor. I step forward, and the pack's attention shifts to me without hesitation. "Stay together," I say, voice steady. "Watch each other's backs. And remember, we hunt to survive, not to destroy. Take what we need, nothing more." They nod. Listen. Accept. Because I'm not just the alpha's mate anymore. I'm their Luna, their queen. The hunt is successful. We return to the manor as the sun sets, the pack moving around us like a living tide. There's laughter, warmth, camaraderie, the kind of community I never thought I'd have. That night, Lucian and I stand on the balcony outside our room, watching the stars emerge one by one in the clearing sky. Do you regret it? He asks quietly. Giving up the life you could have had? I think about the woman I was alone in that cabin, invisible to the world, slowly starving in more ways than one. I don't regret anything, I say honestly. He pulls me closer, wrapping his arms around me from behind, chin resting on my shoulder. You gave me everything, he murmurs. Your last meal, your trust, your heart. You gave me everything too, I counter. Safety, purpose, a place to belong. You always belonged, he says fiercely. The world was just too blind to see it. I lean back against him, letting his warmth chase away the winter chill. Through the bond, I feel his contentment, his peace, the bone-deep satisfaction of knowing I'm his and he's mine. And I feel my own emotions mirrored back the wonder that this is my life now, that I went from invisible to essential, from starving to satisfied, from alone to belonging. Tell me the story, he says suddenly. What story? Ours. How we began. I smile, closing my eyes. Once upon a time, there was a woman who had nothing left but pride and one last meal. And she was beautiful, he adds. And she was starving, I correct. And one frozen night, a wolf came to her door, bleeding, dying, and she had a choice: keep what little she had, or give it away to a creature who should have terrified her. Why didn't I? He asks, though he knows the answer. Because when you looked at me, I saw myself reflected in your eyes. Alone, desperate, worthy of compassion. I opened my eyes, looking out at the forest, our forest. So I fed you, and you left. And I thought that was the end of the story. But it wasn't. No, because you came back. I turn in his arms, meeting his golden eyes. As a man, as an alpha. And you gave me everything you had, your protection, your pack, your heart. You made me visible, made me matter. You always mattered, he says roughly. I know that now. I touch his face, feeling the stubble beneath my palm, the warmth of his skin. I gave my last meal to a dying wolf. In return, the forest gave me a king and made me his equal. His arms tighten around me, and I feel everything through the bond. His love, fierce and unshakable. His gratitude, his wonder that I chose him, that I stay choosing him every single day. Not equal, he murmurs against my lips. You're better than me, stronger, braver. Partner, then, I whisper back. Always. He kisses me beneath the winter stars, and I taste forever in it. Taste home and belonging and the wild freedom of being exactly who I am without apology. Below us, wolves howl a song of pack and family and acceptance. And I howl back, because I'm not the woman I was, not the invisible girl starving in a forgotten cabin. I'm the Luna, the queen, the woman who fed a wolf and claimed a king. I'm seen, I'm loved, I'm home, and I walk beside him through snow and shadow and sunlight, now and always, neither ahead nor behind. Equal, together, free. In the depths of winter, the forest remembers her kindness, the pack remembers her strength, and the alpha remembers the woman who saw him at his lowest and chose him anyway. Some bonds are forged in fire. Ours was forged in hunger and compassion, and it will never break. This is not a fairy tale. This is survival. This is choice. This is love. And I would do it all again. The end. Thank you for listening to another emotional, magical shifter romance here on Tina Romance Library. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, so you never miss more powerful, heart-gripping romance stories.